Welcome, survivors, to Mikey's Gaming Oasis. Today we're going to be going over some of the key features that have come with the Bob's Tall Tale packs. This is not going to be an in-depth on every piece, but I am going to give some key information on them. Now, for the Armadoggo, if you want to learn how to tame it and what each saddle does, make sure you check out my recent video in the description link below. So without further ado, let's get started. So what we have here are the structures skins that have come with the Bob's Tall Tale pack. They give this really rustic and kind of a post-apocalyptic look to all of your standard structures. You have the Behemoth Gate, you have the Dino Gate here, you have all your doors and windows and walls here. As you can see, you also have the tall wall. The pillars give this lovely rustic girder look with some spikes and rust. Then you have your quarter walls and your railings that give this really almost a don't come in here vibe on them. When it comes to those, you have your quarter walls, your quarter ceilings, your triangle foundations, and your quarter foundations as well. Your triangle ceilings and all your other ceiling types. Now, we did get an additional treat with this, which I will go over in just a moment. But here are your roofs, your sloped walls, and then, like I said, all your other doors as well. Then you have two treats here. We got an additional structure, the hangar door structure that opens horizontally. And then we have the barn door structure that opens vertically, like so. I think those are great additions. I can't wait to use them in some of my builds to make a more rustic look and give some more dimension and depth to my builds. Then, of course, you have the foundations here. So let's take a look at the backside of all of these structures real quick. As you see, the front and back side give two very different looks. Okay? With the doors, they have these human skulls in the doors with a tire and chain holding them together. If we come over to the Dino Gate, it has a Triceratops on both sides for when you on the gates themselves. And the Behe Gate has the same design on the front and back. I do love the detail of the skulls on the top, though. That is absolutely amazing. And then you have the rib cages or a wing or rib cages. I can't really tell from a massive dino. So the next thing we're going to look at are some of the other structures that have come with the Bob's Tall Tales. You have the ground Wasteland light that is run off of thatch, wood to create the fire. It gives a nice light, but not too bad. Then you have the Bladewasp hive that kind of works like the Plant Z hive, or plant rather, where it is a defense tower. Now the difference with this one is you need honey to operate it. With a full stat, this has 27 honey in it right now, and it's good for 2 days, 6 hours. If you notice, it all has 13 hours on the honey, but it may or may not change on that. I'm going to let it run and figure that out later. What this does is when it's active, as you can see, you got these little blade fly things, wasps, flying around. What they'll do is, depending on the setting that you have the hive set to, it will attack items that come near you, whether it be wild dinos, other players, other tames that are hostile tames or not your tames, just like all the other towers that you have. Now the next one we have here is the Makeshift Megalab. Now the Makeshift Megalab, when you go into it, initially you're like, oh, it's just another chem bench. Well, no, it's not. Okay, it has some very key features in here that I haven't quite figured them all out yet, but there's some very important differences here. One is it allows you to make the element imbued gasoline. Now, the element imbued gasoline is absolutely vital for your battle rigs. That is the fuel they are going to run off of. They're not going to run off of regular gasoline. To make 1 can of element imbued gasoline, you're going to need 40 element dust and 4 cans of gasoline. Now, keep in mind, and I will go over this when we go over the battle rigs, that you must have an ample supply if you intend to use the battle rigs. One of the other key features was covered by Roz Clark, which is the item traits. Now, you get the traits from defeating bosses and doing the ODS drops. For a deeper description on this, make sure you check out Roz Clark's video that is in the link in the description below. He goes in depth on how this works. And then you have the respect creature. I haven't figured that out yet. I've bred creatures, I've had babies, I've put a bunch of points into creatures, and it hasn't worked yet. I'm thinking it has something to do with their traits, but we'll see that hopefully soon. Once I figure it out, I will put a video out if someone hasn't beat me to it. So keep your eye out for that one. Now, the lab must be ran either off of element, directly in the lab itself, or from a tech generator like you see here. So the next thing we're going to look at is the Battlerig Garage. This is where we're going to make our battle rigs. Now, with the Battlerig Garage, you can actually hide your roof by going into the radio wheel and hide roof. Another thing with this that you will find interesting is if you have your roof on and we go up to the top, we can actually put pillars in here. You can't put them here, you have to put them on the edge. So if you put your pillars here, like so, you can then build on top of your garage. Now, if the garage is built, keep this in mind, if you have structures on top of this, like so, you cannot hide your roof. And that can cause issues later on. As you see, it says structures have roof on the roof. So let's remove those structures real quick and hide the garage, and then we'll go through all the little items that come with it. All right, we're going to hide this roof again. There we go. Now, to access it, all you're going to do is you're going to go in and you're going to access your battle rigs. As you see, I have 3 battle rigs already built because I was playing around with them. Now, if I want to modify a rig, I can here. You come up here, you have your rig list, your modify rigs. Requires to select a battle rig to craft or to modify. You can also come in and you can craft a rig. You can go into your rig inventory here. We'll get to this in a moment. Then we can go to the stored rigs. We have no stored rigs. That's in the inventory. And then you have, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to craft rigs. You get one picture here for craft rigs. Once you go into here, it's going to give you different choices here on what you can use. This is an overview of the chassis. It also tells you what you have already on here and what its health level is. So each part that you build is going to cost a different amount of materials. Okay, so for example, the racer takes 60 cementing paste, 220 fiber, 180 metal ingots, 40 electronics, and 80 hide. As you go to the larger rigs, if you notice, they're all the same for that particular base level structure. Then you go to the engine and you have to set aside a different set of materials to be able to do it. Now, to be able to build it, all your items have to be in the inventory. So you're going to want to put your materials to build in your inventory here. Now, I already have a couple of rigs built, so I am going to show you what this does. So what you can do is, I have 3 rigs here. What we can do is I can come up to the rig, hold down E, and I can make it into an item. Now, anything you have in your rig will show up in a bag. This rig did not have any items in it. So now that I have that rig in my inventory, it's good for 5 hours. You then take that battle rig and you put it in the inventory, open stored battle rigs, right? Then you're gonna throw this in your inventory here, and then you're gonna go to open crafting inventory. Sorry, access battle garage. Then you have your battle rigs here, your stored battle rig right here, and then you can go in and modify it however you want to modify it. Now, one key thing to keep in mind is that if you have the roof on your rig, on your garage, it can cause issues. So one other item to note is that if you look, I have a couple of items here that is an apprentice battle rig mod extra armor. So what I can do is I can replace that here. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, well, where did you get that, Mike? Well, I got this from an OSD. So as you defeat the OSDs, you can get upper level armor for your battle rigs as well. So keep that in mind. To be able to use it, what you have to do is you have to put it in your inventory. So if I go to my inventory here, you see I have 2 rigs in here. I have a shotgun trank and I have a extra armor mod piece for my battle rigs. Those 2 get put in there. And then you can then modify your rig from here. It's in the garage, so I'm going to pick this one. That's the one that's being worked on because it's got the little repair icon on it. Going to go into the battle rig, and then I'm going to go to the part, okay, so we got a turret. So we're going to replace this turret by double clicking on it. That other turret goes down here in the inventory still. So now I have the apprentice level battle turret on there for the trank shotgun. Then of course I have the front attachment as well. I can then double click it and it goes on there. So now I have upgraded my rig based on the parts that I've gotten from the OSD. So the next item we're going to look at is the Tribe Tower. Now the Tribe Tower is very interesting. You can have all your fancy stuff, all your trophies and everything thrown in here and put and displayed on here. Now, to run the Tribe Tower, you must have trophies from the alpha creatures that you beat, such as the Gigaheart, the Tyrannosaurus tooth, the Spinosails, basically the tributes that you use for boss fights on the other maps are used for this. Okay, now that you can't put your trophies directly, your other trophies directly into the inventory as of right now for placing, as you can see. By the way, these are trophies that have been received for OSDs right here. You find these skeletons up in torsos, all that fun stuff in OSDs. Then, so what you have to do is you have to build on your Tribe Tower. As you can see, you can build on it. Now, one other weird little issue with the Tribe Tower is it has to be in an open space. And it has to be on foundations. So you cannot put it out in a cave. It has to be in an open space. The longer your Tribe Tower is up, the more buffs you get. For example, I've had this Tribe Tower running for 37 minutes. I can have a max of experience bonus of 20%, taming speed bonus of 20%, and boss element bonus of 30%. Now, I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but trust me, that is game changing right there. Now, other tribes can attack and take out your Tribe Tower in PvP. I have not tested this on PvE as of yet. Now, what I have here is I can also come down here in the radio wheel and do max effect. So all of my effects are now at the max right now. And when I set that to max effects, if you notice, all of my flames are going absolutely wild. Tell me that does not look awesome. So make sure you decorate your tribe tower and get that sucker going and have fun with it. The next piece of equipment we're going to look at is the bio grinder. The bio grinder is used to grind up your tames, and it gives you items and resources from those tames. It also has two very interesting features. Well, technically three very interesting features. One, you can build directly on it. So as you see, I have a platform built around it, but no support underneath. What that is I literally built along the edge. This will make it easier for me to bring my tames up to the grinder. So to show you how this works, I'm going to grab this trike and I'm going to walk it right onto the grinder. Just going to set it right there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the grinder on. Now this is a little gruesome, but it works. Okay, and you see I still have a saddle on the grinder. Uh-oh. I just lost my saddle. Just kidding. Your saddle and any items that you had in the inventory on that tame will show up in this little dispenser right here. So the saddle has just been regained. Now, the amount of stuff that you get from the tame is going to be based on its level. That was a low level trike, so I got 1 hide, but I also got 2 simple kibble. The basic rule with this is whatever kibble is used to tame the creature that you grind, you will get that kibble back. And the amount of kibble is going to depend on the level of that tame. Now, there's one other thing that goes along with this. It can also give you, if you're using if you're taming or grinding rather a tame that does not require kibble, it will give you the kibble that its egg is used for. Does that make sense? So the next creature we're going to try, and I'm going to show you the difference here, is a level 225 Yudi that we have here, and you will see the difference in the products we get from each tame. So I'm going to throw this Yudi on here. Now, you're not going to get ground up on there due to you being the player. But we're going to go in and we're going to grab our saddle off the Yudi. We're going to go into the grinder. As you see on the grinder, I got meat, fur, and I got 12 extraordinary kibble. So, I'm seeing folks making a Yudi farm to make a kibble farm out of this. So what I will do in an upcoming video is I will make a kibble farm video for this item. Well, thank you all for joining us for Mikey's Gaming Oasis overview of the Bob's Tall Tale editions with Extinction. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below which part of the new additions to Bob's Tall Tales you're most excited about. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.